You will hear a lecture about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now, listen carefully and answer question 31 to 40.
Good morning. Today I examine neuroplasticity, arguably the most significant discovery in modern neuroscience. This concept revolutionized our understanding of brain structure and potential for recovery. Historically, scientists viewed the brain as fixed, unchanging after childhood. Spanish neuroscientist Santiago Ramón y Cajal proposed this doctrine in the early 20th century. He believed adult brains contained static circuits incapable of regeneration. This dogma dominated neuroscience for decades, discouraging research into brain repair. The revolution began accidentally in the 1960s. Professor Michael Merzenich at the University of California conducted experiments using primates. He mapped cortical areas responsible for tactile sensation in owl monkeys. After amputating fingers, he expected permanent gaps in the sensory map. Instead, within weeks, adjacent regions expanded, occupying vacant space. This demonstrated cortical remapping. Adult brains could reorganize. Merzenich's findings faced skepticism. Journals initially rejected his papers. By the 1980s, however, evidence accumulated. Stroke survivors regained movement through intensive therapy. Blind individuals developed enhanced hearing as visual cortex adapted. Musicians showed enlarged motor areas controlling fingers. London taxi drivers provided spectacular proof. Licensed drivers must memorize 25,000 streets for the knowledge examination. Eleanor Maguire at University College London scanned experienced drivers in the 1990s. Their posterior hippocampi, brain regions handling spatial navigation, were significantly larger than control subjects. Correlation was specific. Years of driving predicted volume increases. Two primary mechanisms enable plasticity. Synaptic plasticity involves strengthening connections between neurons through repeated activation. Long-term potentiation, discovered 1973 by Terje Lomo in Oslo, describes how high-frequency stimulation enhances signal transmission. Conversely, unused pathways weaken through long-term depression. Structural plasticity represents deeper change. Adult neurogenesis, birth of new neurons, occurs in hippocampus and olfactory bulb. Elizabeth Gould at Princeton confirmed this in 1999, overturning Cajal's assumptions. Environmental enrichment, physical exercise, and learning stimulate proliferation of neural stem cells. Clinical applications transformed rehabilitation. Constraint-induced movement therapy, developed by Edward Taub, treats stroke patients. The unaffected limb is restrained, forcing use of paralyzed muscles. Massed practice, intensive repetition, rewires motor cortex. Success rates exceed 70% for upper extremity recovery. Phantom limb pain demonstrates maladaptive plasticity. After amputation, sensory cortex reorganizes chaotically, producing chronic discomfort. Vilayanar Ramachandran's mirror box therapy creates visual illusion of intact limb, reducing cortical disorganization and pain intensity. Technology accelerates intervention. Transcranial magnetic stimulation uses magnetic fields to modulate neural activity. Direct current stimulation applies weak electrical currents, enhancing learning speed by 20% in some studies. brain-computer interfaces bypass damaged pathways, allowing paralyzed patients to control external devices through thought alone. Bilingualism illustrates cognitive reserve. Speaking 2 languages delays dementia onset by 4 years on average. Constant switching exercises executive functions, building resilient networks. Musical training similarly protects aging brains. Professional musicians show reduced cognitive decline compared to non-musicians. Mindfulness meditation alters structure. Sarah Lazar at Harvard found 8 weeks of practice increased gray matter density in hippocampus and decreased amygdala volume, stress reduction visible anatomically. Participants reported improved memory and emotional regulation. Critical periods limit plasticity timing. Language acquisition requires exposure before puberty for native fluency. Amblyopia, lazy eye, must be corrected by age 8 for full recovery. Adult brains retain capacity, but require greater effort and specific protocols. Future directions include pharmaceutical enhancement. Valproic acid, an epilepsy drug, temporarily reopens critical periods in animal models. Cautious application might accelerate language learning or musical training in adults. Ethical concerns regarding cognitive equity arise. To conclude, neuroplasticity reveals evolutionary intelligence. Brains optimize for survival, reconfiguring based experience. Understanding these principles empowers individuals to cultivate neural health throughout lifespan. Thank you.
This is the end of the test. You now have half a minute to check your answer.